Hey fans, viewers, and listeners, welcome to another exciting episode of Fight Insight Podcast. I'm your host for today, Rain Cruz, also known as Ringside Rain, ring announcer for Up Next Fighting. And with me, as always, is Timmy B. Today, we have two very special guests. First will be FLA bantamweight Sam Rhino, followed by UFC welterweight Basil Hafez, the Habibi. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Tim, hit it! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fight Insight Podcast.
Rain, I'm so excited. Today, we have two very special guests, but the first one here is a young man that I met late into last year. He was a hot prospect with Fight League Atlantic, where I am so happy to be a part of and commentate. I'm going to be commentating on June 8th in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, and this man is going to be on the card making his professional debut. He was the 2023 Fight League Atlantic Breakout Fighter of the Year. Rain, 3 fights in the year, 3 victories in the year, 3 finishes in the year. This guy has everything it takes to be a superstar, and I'm so glad to be on the ride to watch him do it. Rain, bring this man in.
Please welcome FLA's Breakout Fighter of 2023, Sam Rhino.
I appreciate the introduction.
There it is. And Sam, for those listening on audio only, you are at Sam _Rhino on Instagram, but it is REYNO.
Yeah, everybody gets it wrong. It's everybody says Reyno, so it is Rhino.
Rhino. And why have you and your family decided to pronounce it incorrectly?
You know what? You're gonna have to take that up with my grandparents, and okay. I will warn you, they're quite opinionated. So
I will pass on that. I will not do it. Sam, like I said, man, congratulations to you. You're a superstar in the making.
Thank you.
3 amateur fights in 2023. Those were your very first 3 fights. Yeah. 3 finishes, all under the Fight League Atlantic banner. Mm-hmm. And now you move into your professional career at FLA 15. I got to ask, what made you make that jump now?
Really, I think it's mainly it has to do with my coach, Gavin Tucker. He, I trust his opinion more than really I trust anybody's opinion on this planet. And he thinks it's the right move. And I personally do feel ready for the pro ranks. I train with a lot of pros. I've been training with, pros since I was 16 years old. I've been doing pro camps, been doing 5-minute rounds. So this really, I feel the amateurs are more kind of to, dip your toes in the water, so to speak, get a feel for the walkout competition, the kind of the pressure that comes along with it. And I feel like I've gotten that experience that I need to where I understand what the show is about and how it feels to kind of walk out in front of lots of people in your underwear and get into a fist fight. So especially with the way the sport's going, people want kind of younger and younger people getting into the UFC. And I just turned 21 and I'd like to keep getting fights under my belt quickly. So, there's really no time to waste. And I figured now is as good a time as any. And especially with an opponent like JP, I think he's a super tough guy, but I think he's a great first opponent. So when it kind of came across the table, we knew that it was the right choice.
Yeah, very nice. And so I'm going to put the photo up here of the Fight League Atlantic poster that is for you. And here you are. There is Sam Rhino on the left. And of course, Juan Pablo Lerma Lopez on the right out of Predators MMA. And you, of course, are out of Tower 1 Combat Sports. For fans of the podcast, that's where the mummy Abdelaziz is from. We had him on the show earlier as well. And he made a comment, Sam, because every time I go to an event at Fight League Atlantic, if Tower 1 fighters, Rain, are there, like fighting, it sounds like there's like an army in the crowd. Like it is the loudest cheering. I'm like, what the hell? Like, these guys are crazy. And then the mummy said, we're not a super huge team. We're actually quite small. It's quality over quantity. Would you agree with that?
For sure. I've seen a lot of people go to these big gyms where they've got, hundreds of people going every day, and it's very like cliquey. There's groups of people, these guys stick together, these guys, but at, Tower One, that's not a thing at all. Like, there's maybe on a day where the mats are packed, we've got between 20 and 30 people, but all those 20 or 30 people are people that I count on as, as family, as my team, and even guys who are bigger than me or more experienced, I don't have any worries when training with them. So, everybody's a family. And I think that's why you said, like, whenever Tower One's on the card, there's a lot of noise and a lot of support, because these guys they're family, legitimately. Like, I'm closer with really nobody else on this planet other than my team. And I think that does have to do with the fact that we have a small crew who really, really cares about everybody's success. Like, nobody's in it just for themselves. Everybody is, wants to help everybody. We have new guys come in, and, we have Abdel, who you mentioned, who's, 3-0 pro and extremely talented, showing, 15-year-old kids basic jiu-jitsu that he doesn't need to do, but it's because he is a mentor and somebody who, is there for everybody in the team, regardless if you compete, you're a pro, you're an amateur, you're a kid, it doesn't matter. Like, and that's, I think, the vibe about this team is, we all really care about each other, and we all really want to see each other succeed, almost more than we want to succeed ourselves, which is something that I feel like a lot of teams don't have.
Yeah. No, I like it. I mean, so you're telling me that after you make your pro debut, you're not going to then like only show up for certain classes at Tower One. You're not going to shun the other people. No, sunglasses indoors. No, not the Sam Rhino we're going to get.
I'll take like a couple days off to go put on some extra weight. There's a lot of things that I want to eat right now that I can't. So I'll take those days, but then I'll be back in the gym helping out everybody who I wasn't able to help out during this camp.
Nice. I know, Rain, there's like lots of Tower One fighters on the card as well, which is always cool to see, because that means then you're kind of like in fight camp with one another. And Rain, I know you're so excited because at Up Next Fighting, when you have a female fight on the card, you're like, holy cow, a female fight, right? Like, doesn't come around a lot. There's actually, it will be the first female fight that I've seen live at Fight League Atlantic. It's the first one in quite some time. And it's one of your training partners, Nicole McMahon. Yes. Not related to Shane and Vince McMahon, I don't think. Okay. But Sam, she says that you beat her up all the time. So good on you.
I would never do that. She's a liar. No? She beats me up. I have a black eye. See, that was all her. I'm giving her full credit. Is that from Nicole? We'll say it was.
Okay. For the purpose I'll edit that part out. Don't worry, it'll look great. But you're turning pro. And I like it's weird, Rain, because I don't know, like we've had people that have had like a billion amateur fights and still not turning pro. And then we have people like, now like Sam that have just a few and then boom, make that switch. I like what you're saying. Hey, the UFC is going to look for younger guys. So I might as well put my name in the hat now. Get some wins on the record. That's the goal for you, Sam. You're doing this for the career, for the big time.
Yeah, I think, there's no point in going into the pro ranks unless you're going in with the mindset of trying to make it to those big shows. I've said this to people before. This is a sport where if you're not committed 100% and you don't really give it everything you have, it will hurt you. Like, it will hurt you badly. Like, this is a very there's a lot of dangers that come with this sport. Like, I think everybody knows that. So if you're not at least looking to compete with those high level guys and looking to get up to that level, it's hard to justify going into the pro ranks.
Nice.
So my main goal is to be, considered amongst one of those elite guys.
Nice, man. No, I like it's just so funny. Was it? I don't know whether it was our last podcast or the one before. We were talking about there's a newsletter by Matt the Immortal Brown, from UFC fame, and he has a newsletter which I don't get paid for this, but you really should sign up. It's a very, very good newsletter. That dude is like crazy. Like he's like a man's man. He's like literally he wants it to go back to apocalyptic times. But he was saying in his newsletter, he's like, look, you have to be 100% in this or not. Like, you can't be 50-50. And because he was even saying, like, look, if you want a family, don't do it. If you want, right? Like, he's like, if you're into fighting, you got to be 100%. Because if not, the other guy that you're fighting is 100%. And how can you expect to beat that guy, right? So if you're going in on this all 100%, Sam, I'm very excited for you, man. What does your family have to say? I mean, you're a nice kid from the East Coast. Very handsome guy, Rain. Like, he could do anything.
I appreciate that.
But he's choosing to get, he's choosing to punch people for a living. What does your family think, Sam? This can't be the, did they always see this in you or what?
They did not see it coming at all. Nobody saw it coming at all. This was kind of like an out of the blue thing. Like, I still will tell people like, oh yeah, like, I'm fighting, or I'll show them a video and they're like, you? Yeah, this is what I do. But my family is, God bless them. They are so supportive. Like they, I told them that this is what I want to do, and they were for it 100%. My mom and dad really just like, I wouldn't be able to do this without them because, they've given me a lot of opportunities in life. I'm not like ashamed to say that they've provided for me for years. And I really could, I am in school right now. I could go use my degree. Like I was given a lot of opportunities. This isn't something that I have to do, but it's something that I want to do. And they're 100% for that. And they're just here to lift me up however they can.
That's awesome, man. Are you gonna have a big crowd of family in the crowd with you on June 8th?
Yeah, I probably will. It's in my backyard. It's in Dartmouth, so I will have. You always say that the Tower 1 crowd is loud. It'll be a little bit louder this time around.
Oh, okay. It's a lot of the Rhino.
Your family, the Rhino family.
The Rhino family will be fully showing out.
Yeah, very nice. What can I ask? What are you doing in school?
I'm taking a business degree. I've got a double major in marketing and management.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
When do you graduate?
I'll either graduate next year or kind of middle of the year after, depending on course load. I'm still kind of choosing if I want to take a full course load or kind of lean back a little bit so that I can focus on fighting a little bit more. But I might want to have a little extra time to focus on fighting if this is what I'm going to do, for a career.
Sure. How many years left do you have? Or like what?
Just one.
Just 1 year left?
Yeah.
And what's the school at? What school is it?
St. Mary's.
St. Mary's? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, shout out to St. Mary's. If Sam has to do a, what do you call it? Like a work what is that called? Like when you
a co-op program.
Like a co-op? You could market for the Fight Insight podcast.
I'd love to.
You know what I mean? Like that would be freaking. I need people to work for us. Like Rain and I keep looking for like minions. We need and like anybody at St. Mary's, anybody doing the program, Sam, if you want to do something, higher end, I understand, but just
I'll put up a couple flyers.
Yeah. Sam, all the rhinos that are going to be in the crowd. Pop quiz, hot shot. What is a group of rhinos called?
I have no idea.
You should know this since your last name is
I
Rhino.
should.
Wait.
A rain?
What is a group? No, I'm saying rain. What is a group of rhinos called? Do you know?
Oh, my answer would have been like Sam's family.
No.
Yeah.
Should it be a group of rhinos?
It's actually pretty cool. It's called a crash. A crash is a group of rhinos.
Crash.
That's pretty wicked. So there you go. So we're gonna have a
I'm
crash.
gonna have to use that.
Crowd.
Yeah, we're gonna have a crash in the crowd.
Crash party.
I have a couple rowdy. I got a couple rowdy uncles, so there might be a couple more crashes.
Yeah. No, but I really appreciate that, Sam. Like when you're saying though that like, hey, look, I don't have to do this. I have opportunities. I have things that I could do, but I'm choosing to be a fighter. That's such an interesting thing too, Rain, right? Because we hear about fighters that like this was their whole life. They're just like born into fighting and this is their way out kind of thing, you know, to better their lives and stuff like that. So that's very interesting, you know, because I think yeah, that's such a dichotomy. We often hear more the opposite side. We often hear more like, hey, I came from a tough upbringing. Like this was my way out from that bad thing. Another Fight League Atlantic guy that we've had on the show who has like kind of a story like that is Hunter Savage, right? So Hunter Savage came from a tough area, right? Actually near me, like from a tough part of town in Ontario, Oshawa. And, you know, that like you hear that story. Fighting was in my whole life. Like I was fighting all the time. And then martial arts saved my life. So Sam, if you're like a good kid, living a decent life, why did you go into martial arts?
Well, I mean, when I first started martial arts, I started off with boxing because I didn't really know what MMA was when I stepped into the gym. So I started off boxing really just because I didn't play sports as a kid, didn't really have like too many friends. Like I had friends, but you know, they were off playing sports with teams and doing all this stuff that, you know, I just wasn't interested in. So kind of my mom drug me out of bed one day. I was like, you have to do something. Like, I'm not just going to let you sit here and just watch TV and, you know, sleep all day. I was like, oh, take me boxing. Because I figured she's not going to let me stay in this. She's going to pull me out after I get hit. Took me down, started boxing. She watched me get punched a lot. Didn't pull me out, much to, you know, my surprise. But ever since then, I caught the bug. Like, I met a lot of great people. Like my first coach, Peter Martell at Titans MMA. He taught me quite a lot. Like, that's where I got my start. And then I had another coach, Peter McGrath, who actually over COVID, we kind of bubbled together and we would go to an empty office building and do Muay Thai for, you know, 4 hours every day. And then later on I met Gavin Tucker and went over with him to Tower One, and really just any opportunity I've had to gain access to the knowledge that comes with martial arts I've taken. And I just I kind of almost stumbled into this position. Like I wasn't looking to,
that's,
you know,
so crazy,
advance or do anything. I really just started as like something to like stay in shape. It gave me confidence. It like gave me, you know, something to do at night. And then it just kind of spiraled, and here I am making my pro debut.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so crazy, right, Ray?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very unique. What any questions that you have for the man, Rain?
Yeah. So my question for you is that I saw on your Instagram at Sam__Rhino, Reyno. I'm just promoting your Instagram right there. It says DM for private training. One would be, what kinds of classes do you offer? And number two would be, do you learn something from your students after or during or while teaching them?
Really, I just like, you know, I'll try and give as much advice as I can, like in striking, MMA, grappling. Like I really just, one thing I do love about martial arts is being able to share that knowledge, like that I've kind of accrued over the years. But obviously, like whenever you coach somebody else, it kind of makes you slow down and focus on the basics and focus on these kind of, like I call them the building blocks of martial arts that once you get to a certain point, you start to overlook, I find. You know, you'll see a lot of guys at the top of the sport showing technique, and there's these very small details that are just second nature to them that they don't really even realize they're doing when they show something. But those details are what make the technique. So coaching somebody who's new and who's a beginner, you really get a good sense of, you know, what makes the technique work. Like what little details do I need to have in place for this to work? Like it's, you know, everybody focuses so much on like overarching kind of looks of things, but they don't spend enough time focusing on these tiny details that are the difference between, you know, the choke being set in versus them slipping out. So I love teaching new people because it lets me focus in and kind of sharpen my game as well.
Have you had like students who were like nervous because that was their first time?
A
You've never done
couple,
martial arts at all?
one or two people who I introduced to it, and they were pretty nervous at first, but they got the hang of it.
That's good.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome, Sam. You're fighting at Fight League Atlantic. You've been there your whole career. The organization that Rain announces at is called Up Next Fighting, and they're in California. And there's so many parallels between what Fight League Atlantic is doing and what Up Next Fighting is doing. They're both very high level. Like, they both have a very big production value, right? They're putting on great shows. And that's why I think like someone like yourself, who, yes, you've only done 3 amateur fights, but like you felt like you're in the big show right from that first one. It's like you're not fighting in like a little parking lot. You're not fighting like in a school gymnasium, right? You're fighting in these big arenas with big crowds. Rain, we are 3 weeks out when we're recording this podcast from June 8th, FLA 15. The floor seats and tables are all sold out.
Wow.
So it is way ahead of schedule that this thing is sold out. There's like a party zone area, and then there's your regular seating. Like, I expect this to be like a massive crowd. But the thing is like, for a guy like Sam who's making his pro debut, the nerves, Sam, I guess you're going to say, like, I mean, aside from regular nerves, but you're not going to get that crazy shock because you've been here, you've done it before under the same banner too. Yeah. So, sorry. So the question is, how thankful are you that there's an organization like Fight League Atlantic that you could do this for this career?
I'm so thankful. Like, going to some MMA shows or even seeing some, at the small level, like you said, they're in a school gymnasium or a parking lot. I've been lucky enough to fight in arenas really my whole career. So obviously, like, it was quite shocking at first to walk out to, your first fight in the amateurs, which isn't really supposed to be like a crazy big deal. And then there's 3,000 people yelling and screaming. And as a 19-year-old kid was jarring, but it kind of allowed me to get the feel for it. And, that's all thanks to Fight League Atlantic. In all honesty, they do put on a great show, and they're reliable, which is something that's very difficult for some promotions. But I know that, once I sign that contract, that the card will happen, and I have this date, and and I know that when I do choose to fight again after this fight, I can go call them and get started on getting something going pretty soon. So I have enormous thanks for them. They've promoted me heavily as well. Like, they've done a really good job at helping me out. So I'm more than happy to go fight on their cards and, try and give them highlights that bring in people to their shows.
That's
awesome. No, dude, that is crazy. Yeah, you're right. Because I mean, look, it doesn't hurt that you're a guy that's 3 fights, 3 wins, 3 finishes, right? Like, that's what people want to see. I mean, in all honesty, the organization wants to see that, and so do the other fighters, and so do the fans, right? Like, we want to see finishes, we want to see exciting fights, and that's what you deliver. So I appreciate that you understand that that's like so valuable to them as well. Yeah. The last thing I'm going to say, Rain, Sam's Instagram account, we've talked about a few times, Sam__Rhino. Sam, how important is it for you to be promoting yourself on your social media? Your social media is not crazy right now, right?
No feet pics. No,
nothing crazy. Yeah.
No feet pics. I can see his feet in a few of the pics. I want to see it. But Sam, no, I mean, like, your Instagram is pretty small, right? In terms of like what you're putting, like, like you're pumping out the stuff. Now, it's all good stuff, but how important is it for you? Because now you're a professional. You're saying, hey, I'm interested in UFC down the road. I'm doing this full time. How important is it for you? And you're a business guy. So how important is it for you? Or do you think it's important to start branding yourself even that little bit more so that someone might make notice of you. And I only ask this because we've had so many guests where we talk about it. Was it last week? No, 2 weeks ago,
2
we
weeks
had the
ago.
world's number one body language expert, Mark Bowden, and he was talking about how to promote yourself and like what to do on your Instagram to do that, like for fighters. So how important is that for you? And do you think about that at all? Or are you just like, screw it, what I do in the cage is what's going to talk for me?
I think about it a lot. I do know that I need to kind of up my promotional game, but at the same time, when I'm in camp and I'm focusing on the fight, I really don't have time to think about, what I'm going to post on Instagram or things like this. I probably should. I know that I should, post more, and I should really promote myself and start building a brand, so to speak. But there's really nothing else on my mind other than this fight.
Right.
It's hard for me to sit down after training and go, oh guys, let's take a picture. Cause that's not what's on my mind. The only thing on my mind is the fight and getting the win. So I think it doesn't matter if you've got 20,000 Instagram followers if you can't win a fight.
That is true.
Damn. That speaks volumes. I mean, you figure from what you've been doing when you turn pro, all the Rhino maniacs are going to start flocking. They'll be taking photos of you at the gym anyways. You'll have to, again, put the shades on, push them away, But no, it's interesting. I mean, here's the other thing too. You could go head on over to St. Mary's and get some minions to do the co-op.
Do your social media.
And be your guy, But yeah, no, it's interesting because, hey, look, man, that's the way the world is going. But I appreciate that, like, at least you like understand that it's there. And look, if you're listening to this podcast and you don't already follow Sam Rhino, please give him a follow. Sam_REYNO. Go give him a follow, because these are the young guys, Rain, that we love to have on the podcast. We love to highlight and try to get them, get their career pumping and moving. Sam, what is something that people don't know about you? Like, what's a weird thing that people don't know about you?
A weird thing that people don't know about me. I know how to ride a horse, and I used to fence. That's the only two semi-interesting facts. So that's about it.
Not semi-interesting, Sam. Like, who knows how to fence that doesn't live in like Transylvania? Why on earth do you know how to fence? Rain, do you know what fencing is?
Yeah.
Okay. It's such a weird thing. Why do you know how to fence, Sam?
When I was younger, like I said, my mom tried to put me in everything that, to get me out of the house. And along with that came some strange things. Like I did the basketball, the soccer, all that. And then once those kind of cut out, then we had not much room left to go. So we went to the fencing, and my sister was like rode horses kind of all of her life. So she taught me how to ride horses. So I just kind of picked up that skill. But nice. Fencing was one of those ones where I don't really even know why I picked that up. Like, I have no interest in learning how to sword fight, but I guess it's good to have.
Yeah.
Was it one of those things where you're like, okay, I will pick this, kind of like what you said earlier about boxing. You picked it because you thought, hey, my mom would probably not like this anyway, so I'll just say fencing.
Yeah, I was like, oh, take me fencing, sure. I think maybe I had a friend who like maybe mentioned it one time. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, it's just such a weird thing. Like, Sam, all right, my friend, there's one question that we ask people before, at the end of every interview, we like to ask them a certain question. I'm going to ask this to you. It's a question that my mom used to ask me almost every day of my life. And my next guest is already here in the lobby, so he's going to hear this question. So it's not going to be a surprise. Basil, close your ears. Don't listen to this. Sam, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you?
How happy am I? I'm at a 10. I am.
Whoa.
Yeah, I have an amazing family. I have great friends. I have an amazing team. And a lot of people say, like you said earlier, like, oh, I have to fight. This is my way out. I get to fight. Like, this is my privilege to get up in front of thousands of people and do the thing that I love to do more than anything on this planet and make it a career. Like, that is I am so lucky to be able to do this. Like there are so many people who like they have to go out. They can't pursue fighting because they need to pay for their apartment and do this. I live at home with my parents. I can, like, I am so privileged to just be able to wake up every day. I can go to the gym and I can do the thing that I love more than anything. When I say I'm at a 10 for happiness, I'm at a 10.
Nice, my friend. Sam, I'm so happy for you, man. Rain, I'm so glad we got to meet him. It's going to be an honor to call your fight on June the 8th. I'm going to put the poster up again. Guys, if you are not already headed out to Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, go get the pay-per-view at fightleagueatlantic.com. Go check him out. Go follow Sam. We want to support you, my friend. Good luck to you, man. Good luck in that fight. No matter what happens, make it an exciting one. Make it a good one. And
I will.
As always, man, we're going to be cheering for you. Before I let you go, though, I'm going to bring in my next guest early, Rain, and then we'll boot him out and then we'll re-intro him properly. But I'm going to bring him in because he's a UFC fighter. He's at the top of the world now in the UFC. And I want him to give you some advice, being that this is your first pro fight. So, Rain, I guess you can intro him in now. Wait, okay, hold on. Hold on. Let me do the intro now. And then Sam, and then we'll let you go, Sam. But I'm going to intro this guy in. Our second guest is a friend of the podcast. We first saw him back on episode 130, 9 months ago, following his UFC debut, where he put on one hell of a performance on short notice against the now streaking Jack Della Maddalena. So it's a fight that we want to see again in the near future. We were all very excited to see what this beast would do next, but it's taken almost a year to see him back. He's now set to face Mickey Gall at UFC 302, Poirier versus Makhachev, and we could not be more excited. It's a big stage for a big man. The Habibi is back. Rain, bring him in.
Please welcome Basil, the Habibi Hafez.
What an intro. Look at that. This could be the next Bruce Crawford, Rain, I'm telling you.
Let's go.
Basil Hafez is here in the house. Basil, I had to bring you in early because I wanted you to be able to give this young man here, Sam Rhino, a little bit of advice. He's making his first pro fight debut. He's 3-0 as an amateur, 3 wins, 3 finishes. June 8th, he makes his pro debut. What is some advice you would give to Mr. Sam Rhino?
Oh, hell yeah, man. That's awesome. Good luck in that fight, bro.
Thank you.
Man, it feels honored to be able to ask for advice from me, but I would say just believe in what you do, man. I would say drill the heck out of the things you're good at and feel confident in that. I think a lot of people try and add too many things and get too saucy with what their style is. Just stick to what you're good at and be confident in that, and then add all the other things as you go, but don't stray away from what you're good at, and that confidence that you have will show in the cage.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Sure, man. I'll see you in the UFC soon.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Sam. All the best to you, my friend. I'll see you down in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia very soon.
Thank you.
Take care. Good luck in training, and say hi to all the Tower 1 guys for me.
I will.
Nice
Thank
to
you for
meet you,
having
Sam.
me. Nice to meet you.
Yes, sir.
See you, buddy.
What's
How
up,
are you,
what's up?
sir?
Good, man. I'm happy to see you guys again. It's been a long time. I wish it was sooner. I was supposed to fight sooner, but a year later.
Know. Well, that's the thing, man. There you were, we were so hyped for you. We were so excited. And then you've been gone for so long. What happened? What happened? What caused the delay?
I mean, so when I got the JDM call, I think I mentioned before that I had injuries going in. I had that motorcycle accident. I mean, I was not in great shape, which led to more injuries in the fight. And I needed to get so I refractured my wrist in the fight. I need to get that splinted. And then I also tore something in my knee. I needed to get surgery, going to the knife. And so when that happened, it was a really, really short recovery for me. I really was back soon. I think I went too hard right away, too fast. And that led to me re-injuring my knee, which I actually didn't plan on pulling out of the Preston Parsons fight. But I think I misspoke about the injuries to the wrong person. And then, gossip trail leads down the road. And next thing you know, Sean Shelby's getting messages back to him like, yeah, this guy is injured apparently. And so they had to pull the fight. But I also went to the UFC staff to try and get something done with my knee so that I wouldn't have to pull out. But Dr. Davidson ended up seeing what the status of my knee was after the MRI, and he said, "There's no way this guy can fight in 4 weeks because he needs to sit out for 4 to 5 weeks." And it ended up happening that way. I wasn't happy about it. I was really trying to make it to the fight. I hate having to pull out. I haven't had that many pullouts in my career at all, and so to pull out of that fight was devastating for me as well. Bill wise, you got to make money to pay the bills. We get enough to get through the next few months, and that's pretty much where it's at in the beginning on the entry contract. So I wasn't happy about having to pull out, but here I am. I wanted to fight in March. This was the opportunity that was given to me. This was the time frame that my opponent Mickey needed. Apparently, he wasn't able to go sooner. So fast forward, here we are. Ends up being like a year later almost, and I'm still ready, man. I've been ready. I've had a great camp, better camp than I had for Evan Cut's fight, and I'm excited to go out there and show out.
Nice, dude.
Nice.
Do you know, Basil, that you are the first ever return guest for my co-host Rain Cruz?'re the first guy that she has ever seen twice.
Oh, really? Hell yeah! All right, cool. Let's go. We got to get a plaque up in the behind the scenes right here.
That's right, man. Dude, the first time we met you, man, you're like such a good guy, such a motivating guy. Like, it was such a pleasure to meet you. And Rain, there are some people that we meet on the podcast that like I really like consider a good friend, and Basil is one, man. Like we do talk every now and then on Instagram. He's a good dude, this guy, man. The Habibi is right. This is like it is a good name for you, my friend. That
was the goal.
Your cooking skills have continued to be muy impressive.
Appreciate that.
Boy, oh boy, dude, you are cooking up some good meats all the time. If you don't follow Basil, what's cooking tonight?
Tonight, it's not as fun during this point of the camp. I'm kind of just sticking to my meal preps, and I like to cook and get like a flair with it and do a bunch of things, and it usually ends up being a little bit unhealthy in terms of the fattier side. But I just keep it simple right now. I eat my meal preps. Maybe I'll go grab a little brisket from the Whole Foods near me. They sell brisket, so I'll grab a little bit of that as a cheat. But I save all the cooking for after the fight, and then hopefully I'll have a cooking show soon. That's the goal. I want to really get in there. I want to have a full test kitchen and be able to do it right. I feel like in my kitchen, I'm just touching the tip of the surface of what I can cook and things I can make. And so, hopefully one day I'll be able to have that and start to show more of a wide array of things I can cook and make. But
nice.
Last thing I made was not that exciting. Just like a steak. Just a steak.
No, but I know, but okay.
Probably really good though.
Yeah,
it was amazing. It was really good.
And he's being very modest because like he's grilling it up to perfection. I'm telling you, like he's doing it good, and your photography skills are good too. Because sometimes I'll cook a good meal, but like I can't get the right photo of it. You
just gotta keep doing angles. I take like 5 different takes of each thing almost, and then I'm like, I pick one and delete the rest. It's a little headache. It's worth it. But yeah, I mean, I grew up in the restaurant business, so I grew up cooking as well for different restaurants that I worked for on the East Coast, and so I got a little background in it, and I watch a lot of cooking shows, and I try and soak things up and pick things up. I feel like I'm nowhere near what a culinary chef would be, like someone that's been to school, because they can make all these fancy things that I have no idea how it works. But I'm a fast learner, so I'll definitely get more stuff out there and get better processes to making different things.
Yeah. You're destined. I mean, you're gonna be on pay-per-view very soon. And let me put the picture here up, and there it is. You versus Gall, June 1st, just a few weeks away, dude. I'm so honored that you would come on as well too before the fight. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. And I love talking to you guys. You guys are easy people to talk to, so it's not a problem at all. I really enjoy it. Get to hype the fight up a little bit.
I do balance out Rain's like angry personality.
Yeah, she's so angry. You got to have that balance, that yin and yang.
Yeah,
you can't have bad cop like the other guys,
Yeah, that's exactly it, Basil. Thank you. But the Mickey Gall fight's a very interesting one. Rain is newer into the MMA scene. Do you know Mickey Gall? Like, do you know the story behind Mickey Gall, Rain?
No.
He's a guy that came on like with a lot of hype. He came on it was the Dana White.
He came on to fight a guy who doesn't fight. Come on.
Oh, really?
No, because he's the first guy that fought CM Punk.
Oh, okay.
And he's the guy that was on Dana White's looking for a fight. They find him, they bring him in to fight CM Punk, right? And it doesn't go their way because then CM Punk gets murdered. And then
I think it's what they planned,
What's that?
I think that's what they planned. I mean, like, did they really think that someone who's been training in martial arts, like Mickey's not an amazing fighter, but he's a high top level fighter, and it's like,
Mm.
did they think that a guy who's never trained in martial arts up until he got the opportunity was going to beat a guy who's been training his whole life? Like,
I think Dana Whitehead went to church 7 times that day to pray.
I think he understood that it was a gimmick fight, and that there's business in that, and that there's business in gimmick fights. And at the end of the day, like, that's what that was. Is a guy who CM Punk, who's a WWE wrestler who didn't train in martial arts his whole life. I hope people realize from that fight, if they haven't realized already, and from even Brock and different guys coming over, that unless you've been training for a long time, you're not going to be able to beat a hungry guy who's been doing it his whole life with his goal being in the UFC. It's like, dude, I mean, if they brought in Logan Paul to do a crossover fight and I was the guy they picked, I would wipe the floor with him and his brother, and I'd do it in the same night, no doubt. I mean, it's just like, you're not beating me when I've been doing this my whole life. What, you think because you have a big social media following and people think you're cool and you can do things on social media, that means you can fight? It's the one sport you can't fake. You really can't fake it.
Right.
That is true.
You can't act like you know things, and you can't pretend, and it shows on fight night.
Okay, but Basil, let's get you fired from the UFC here. Now,
don't. I'm finally where I dreamed of being. I don't want to stay here. I want to retire here.
But like, okay, but seriously though, like, okay, we had someone who fought in PFL.
Yes.
A girl who fought against Clarissa Shields, Kelsey DeSantis. And she told us how the promotion didn't tell her there were no elbows until a week before the fight. Changed the weight of the fight like a few weeks before. During the media events, did not have her scheduled for any interviews. So she was like shunned from the media.
Like no one was talking to her.
I didn't even know this. It's horrible.
Like, oh, Basil, you missed that episode, I guess. Of all the episodes that you watch, you missed that one? That's fine.
He was grilling his
That's a lot of the episodes, but I missed that. I'm not going to lie. My memory isn't always the greatest. I get punched in the head for a living.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, but the organization could do things to really try to sway things in CM Punk's favor in that respect, right? Like, I mean, and like, what if you're a fighter that's like, wait, maybe the organization wants me to lose? Like, is that at all possible, Basil, or is that just so stupid for me to think that a professional fighter would, by chance, maybe give it less than their all?
I think that's definitely a thing that's more on the mental side for the fighter and for anyone that would be receiving it. Like, you can always try and find negatives in it and be like, man, they're out to get me. And anyone could think they're out to get me. I could think that, even though I don't think that's the case with Mickey at all. I'd be like, oh, the UFC's out to get me because they gave me a guy who's established in the UFC. Or he could look at it like, oh, they're out to get me because they gave me a guy who's this tough and I'm on my last fight of my contract. There's every way you can look at it, a cup half full or cup half empty. It's really up to you. I mean, in my mindset, I could have been brought in. Like, I was brought in to lose to JDM, and maybe other fights before that I was brought in to lose to that guy so that guy can get signed. But I don't care about that mentality. I don't entertain that mentality because I want to defy the odds. If you're not strong enough mentally to be able to defy those odds and say, I don't care what they're bringing me in here for, I'm going to shock them. I'm going to shock the world and I'm going to shock them. Then I think you're in the wrong sport. And it's just a matter of time before you get exposed. And so I think there's always going to be that. That's the sport of fighting we're in, is that there's going to be someone they're trying to build up and someone that they're trying to feed that person to. That's like, I think, a lot of the sport. That's the way it is. That's the marketability of it. And then the guy who's been brought in there to feed that guy, if he beats him, that's a feel-good story right there. That's a Rocky story. And so I've always had that. Being from Philadelphia, being a huge fan of Rocky growing up and Sly and the whole underdog mindset. I feel like I've been an underdog in a lot of situations. There hasn't been many fights that I wasn't the underdog, I feel like. And so for me, like, you got to just overcome that. You can't allow that to take control. Like I said, there's always going to be a way for you to think about it in that negative light. But for me, it's like, cool, bring me in as the underdog. I'm going to shock the world. I'm going to show that I deserve to be here. And Kelsey, that sounds not fair that they did that to her. And maybe, I don't know how they did Nikki and CM Punk, but I mean, dude, if I like, they could straight up tell me, hey, we're bringing you in to lose. We're not going to give you this. We're not going to do that. We're not going to tell you about this. I'm like, cool, man. Like, I'm like, bet against me. Put all your hedges against me, and I'm going to break through that. I'm going to kick down that door. I'm going to shock the world. I'm going to do it over and over again. Like, I don't care about all that. To me, it's just hearsay. It's all talk.
Yeah, I love it. Dude, I love it. I like, hey man, Like my all my money is behind you, dude, on this. Like, I'm so excited for you because I've been dying for your return. And in all honesty, like, I know that you missed out on the January fight, but I feel like this is fantastic because you're on the pay-per-view on UFC 302, which is a good card. And here you are, and your opponent is a name, like you said. Like, he's a guy that people know. So it's good, you know, this is a fight that's going to have eyes on it, and this is going to be an opportunity for you to really like skyrocket your name and your personality and your skills too, right? Like, to really like jump the ladder now with this big win.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm super confident in this fight. I can't wait to get in there and get in Mickey's face and just punch him until he gives up. That's the goal. Whether it's on the ground or on the feet, you know, my goal is to just turn into a battle, to a fight, make it something exciting for the fans. Hopefully, earn myself a bonus. That's always the goal. And now with full preparation, yeah, I need that guap. And for full preparation, a full camp, and my cardio is great. Everything's great. My strength is great. I'm excited, man. I'm super excited for this. And yeah, I mean, look, I faced Mickey before too. I faced him in a Grappler's Quest like 11 years ago. A lot of people don't know that.
Wow.
And I beat him for the absolute finals for the belt. Yeah, and you know,
So this is like a rematch between the two of you.
Rematch. I'm 1-0 against him, and now my goal is to be 2-0 against him. So that's the plan. Like, I'm preparing for the best Mickey Gall. He's been off for 2 years. He has a layoff. I'm not treating it like he's been sitting on the couch and eating Cheetos. I'm treating it like he's been training and thinking of who the next guy he can get in the cage with. And so I'm prepared for the best Mickey Gall that's going to come out, and I'm going to be ready to meet him head on. So that's the goal, is to go out there, prepare for the best Mickey Gall, which I've done, and now fight my hardest like he's going to fight his hardest. And hopefully I get a finish. That's the goal, to get a finish within a distance and get a bonus and get my hand raised and hopefully be 1-1 in the UFC.
Yeah, dude. And there's a little asterisk next to that other one, by the way, just so you know.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Yeah, they got me my least vulnerable. That's the least vulnerable you're going to see me going into a fight from now on.
No, dude, man. And you gained so many fans that time. Here's the thing. Did you watch Baby Reindeer?
No.
Do you know about that?
No. I thought you were about to say Baby Rain. I'm like, they got baby pics of Rain?
No. No, baby. Okay, see, this is how I know that you're in fight camp, because you're oblivious to what's going on in like pop culture right now. There's a show called Baby Reindeer.
I'm usually always oblivious to things in pop culture.
Right.
So.
You're like me, man. I have no idea what that show is.
Yeah.
It's very hard for me to get along with Rain, like I said. So it's a show on Netflix about this lady who stalks this guy, and it's based on a true story, but apparently the story's not really true, whatever. Anyways, this lady, they brought her onto Piers Morgan, and like trying to confront her to be like, hey, did you do all this stuff? Like, did you stalk this dude or whatever? And then she's just flat out lying to him, or everybody thinks she's just flat out lying to Piers Morgan, because she goes, no, I didn't do any of this. I didn't do it. And they're like, you know, there's going to be proof, right? Like, she's like, I didn't do anything, right? So it's very awkward to watch that interview, and like very disappointing for me, because there were no like facts being produced or anything like that. Basil, I'm going to ask you a question, and I don't want you to lie to me. Do you understand?
I'm not good at lying. So,
all right. The last time you were on this podcast, I said that you look like you could play Sabretooth in an X-Men movie. Okay.
The beard's longer.
Now, what?
The beard's longer now.
Yeah, it's a little bit longer, but you still got the look. You still got the voice, the look, you know. Coincidentally, during your time off, they film Wolverine and Deadpool. Are you in Wolverine and Deadpool as Sabretooth?
I wish I was, man. That'd be great. No, I'm not. It would be great though, because I know I'd be making money for that. I wouldn't have to struggle for bills as much. You know,
Basil,
but yeah, no, one day I'll be in Wolverine
Basil.
3 or 4, probably.
Basil, I'm going to call you a liar because I found this. I found this photo online.
Let me see. Yeah, that's some good editing skills you guys got right there.
Basil,
have you guys do my photos.
That is you with
I like it.
Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. I mean,
where'd you find that photo? I got to call the production company. That's not that, man. They told me I couldn't release any information, and then you get a copy of it.
Yeah, we got early copies of it. But dude, what's going on with the modeling here, though? Aside from my editing skills, what's this? Just you on a Harley? What's going on here?
It's my bike, man. It's my baby. You know,
is it?
I meet. There's some really great photographers out here in Denver that I just happen to run into at the gym, or we end up hitting it off. And That's Peter Gaines Photography. He's really good, man. We like, I didn't really know him that well. I just met him at the gym through people, and then I think a friend of mine, shout out to Dante Shiro, he's fighting soon on LFA in June. He sent me the post, the story post that he made. He's like, yo, I'm looking for someone with a motorcycle to do a photo shoot. I was like, I'm down. I'm always down to do a photo shoot. You know, I think I'm a handsome guy. You know,
Yeah.
I gotta get this. I gotta go to Turkey and get this taken care of. But other than that, yeah, I think I'm a handsome guy, so I like to do a photo shoot whenever someone's down. And yeah, he ended up, not gonna lie, I didn't really know much about his photography skills, but he is so good at taking photos. I was shocked at how good he was. So, you know, I rode my motorcycle out there. I met him. He took some good pictures,
Mhm.
and he gave me a nice little portfolio. Now I just post them here and there, so I have content. And you know, I'll probably do another shoot with him in the future. But
Very nice. Wait,
yeah,
I
why
didn't
not?
know.
Why not? I want to get a Harley Davidson sponsorship too one day. So that's like pushing towards that a little bit, you know.
Here's the thing. I didn't know that photo was a professional photo, so don't get me sued now for
Oh,
editing the photo. You know what I
no,
mean?
you're good. I don't think
Yeah.
he's big enough to sue you yet. I'll talk to him.
Thank God, thank God. I'll send you that photo though, so you have it, so that it's, you know what I mean. So that
Yeah,
you
I got you. Yeah, I think you might have to hire him for some photography jobs, maybe, so that he doesn't sue.
yeah. Uh, man, so yeah, no, I'm very excited, man, for this fight, for like what's to come for you, because like this is finally like the Habibi is back. Like I
Mhm,
said,
mhm.
finally, like we're gonna see you back, and I'm very excited. If all goes well on this fight, how often do you want to fight after this?
I mean, I'm ready to fight short after. If I go in there and it's a quick fight with no injuries, it's all based on the injuries for me.
Right.
Obviously, I'd like to take time to get fat and eat. Man, I'm gonna look like DC when I'm done fighting. I just love to eat. You know, I'm gonna shoot the Cake and Chicken sequel to his video.
Nice.
But maybe, you know, if they're coming to Denver in July, so I wouldn't mind fighting that card if I go in there with no injuries and everything's good. Yeah, I would like to turn around right away. If it's up
Nice.
to me, I would like to have, like, you know, a month or so just to hang out with my friends and family, eat food, and hang out with my dog and do everything I got to do, and then go back into it. But we'll see. You know, I'm in the best organization in the world, fighting, living my dream, and you know, it's hard to say no to whenever they give you an opportunity, unless you're just injured or unable to. So I'm gonna
Right.
wait and see what happens after this fight, and hopefully short after. But I think I'll probably, either way, I'll go out and hang out at the UFC in Denver in July, so I can say what's up to my people and all the teammates I know fighting. So
Nice, dude.
We'll see.
Yeah, that's awesome. Rain, what do you got for Mr. Basil Hafez?
I'm glad you brought up that photo of Basil and that motorcycle, because I honestly was going to ask you this question. You know, there are fighters who have gone into doing movies. I know Ashley Evans Smith, she actually is in a movie. I forgot when it's going to be released, but she's actually a part of like this movie that's going to come out soon. Is
Nice.
that something? I know we were joking around about this, but is that something that you kind of see in your future? Because, man, I look through your Instagram and I see the professional photos of you. You could be a model, you could be a movie star. I mean, you already know how to fight. So if it's like an action movie, you're ready. You're ready, man.
Yeah.
You got
You're really
this.
nice, Rain. You're so good with the compliments. I swear, you practice these. You have
I'm
to.
just speaking facts, man.
No, I mean, yeah, I would love to. I'm super confident in myself. I feel like I do accents really well. You know, I
Mhm.
mess around. I have a good sense of humor, and I feel like I'm a master of many trades. You know, jack of all trades, master of none. But I feel like I can do a lot of things and wearing a lot of different hats. So yeah, I would like to. I would like to act. You know, that's an opportunity in the future. I'll jump at that opportunity, and you know, maybe one day I could be in WWE and be the next Iron Sheik. You know, make you humble.
Let's
A
go.
lot of different things. I have a lot of hats I want to wear, but right now for me, the focus is on my career, to try and get the most out of my fight and really prove that I'm the best fighter I can be, and really just try and improve every day in practice. And I don't really do much outside of that, to be honest. The photo shoots are extracurricular for me, and if I have
Mhm.
time, I do them. But yeah, one day I would like to get some acting in if I can and do different things. And you know, I want to also be my own. I want to be a coach and create world champions in the future. I believe I can do that. I believe I can get somebody to run through a brick wall if I want to get them to. You know, I feel like I can motivate really well. So we'll see. We'll see.
Would you prefer to be a superhero or a villain?
Ooh. See, the my heart is I want to be the superhero, but I know I
Mhm.
can play the villain very well as well. So, you know, I can do either or. I'm not
Like,
saying I'm the best actor, you know. There's guys that are better actors, but I can practice and I can become better at it. So maybe one day I'll be both. You never know. Maybe
Do
I'll
you
be
have
in the
an
Wolverine 3.
Do you have an evil laugh?
I've never practiced it. It's like a corny one. I've never done it before.
No, that's perfect.
I think like I have to
Oscar winning.
Yeah, acting you have to practice. You can't just wake up and be good. Some people are just good at it, but I gotta practice that acting. So I've never really done it.
No, dude. I do want to say I do want to get to something a little bit more serious though too, because I don't want to keep you too long too, and I appreciate you coming on, man. And it's okay if you don't want to talk about it all, but you know, on your Instagram, and you do have a platform on your Instagram, you're oftentimes commenting or giving opinions on what's happening in the world today. In the platform that you're about to have at UFC 302, is that an opportunity where you may say something as well about your thoughts or feelings on things?
Oh yeah, 100%. You know, I definitely, if I get the mic when I win, I'm planning on, you know, speaking on maybe the Israel-Palestine conflict. It's something I'm passionate about, especially because I have cousins that are Palestinian and I'm Middle Eastern myself. And you know, it's something I'm passionate about. I'm very passionate about the innocent lives that have been lost in Palestine over the past 75 plus years. It's not just something since October 7th, which the average sheep propaganda person will just keep bringing up, regurgitating that. And it's like, they don't know the history. I'm not a fan of any genocide, any people dying. And shout out to my Armenian, you know, Armenian friends and people that have been dealing with their own genocide. I'm never a fan of any kind of genocide. And so to me, innocent lives matter. Everyone deserves a chance at life. Everyone deserves a fair chance. No one should be judged based off of their ethnicity, their religious background, or whatever they believe in, and it doesn't matter what it is, even if it's not religious based. So to me, that's something I'm passionate about. I speak a lot about it a lot. I believe a lot of people are fearful to talk about it because they want to get blackballed. I don't care if I get blackballed. You know, I'll die with I'll go to the grave with my beliefs. And that's one of the things I believe on, is speaking up for people that don't have the ability to speak for themselves. So that's something I'm passionate about. And I think a lot of times people might twist it, and what's done a lot lately is it's turned into like, oh, anti-Semitic because you're supporting Palestinians. And it's like, that's twisted that way on purpose. A lot of friends I grew up with are Jewish. I have nothing against the Jewish people. I have an issue with the state of Israel and what they've been doing, and you know, towards my people. And it's something I'm always going to be passionate about. I'm always going to try and stand for them. And you know, it's not about religion; it's an ideology issue, and that's what people need to see. And so, for me, same thing. If I saw the Jewish people going through an atrocity, I would stand for them the same way I would stand for my own people. I believe in standing for anyone that's going through things like that, that no one will speak for them and that people are trying to shut them out. So I'm very passionate about the Palestine issue, and you know, everywhere I go, I will stand for Palestine.
Yeah, man. No, I appreciate, like, obviously I don't pretend to understand a whole bunch of things, but what I do find difficult is like you said, like just the twisting of stories and the twisting of narratives. And you see it all the time, like not just with this issue, but like with so many issues we've had in the world, right? Where like suddenly this weird narrative comes, and the twisting really is meant to kind of divide us into like this side or that side. And there is no intelligent middle ground. There's no intelligent discussion being had. And that's why I do appreciate, man, that your post, because your posts really actually have shed a lot of light on the situation for me, you know, trying to look into it and trying to realize it. Like I do see that your posts and stuff like that, and it gives me like I feel like a better sense of like what's going on. And I appreciate what you said, because yeah, it's not I do take offense when the minute you're on one side, they label you something and you're like, wait, that's not what I am. I'm just asking questions. I'm just saying I don't want people to die at all. And you're right. I like what you said, which is if it was happening the other way, you would side with the other side as well, right? Like
100%.
Because like I'm not against the people or for a certain people. I'm just against this. And it didn't matter who it's occurring against. That's how it be. So
100%. Yeah, I don't believe in any like atrocities that's been going on. I think a lot of people have been fed a lot of propaganda for a long time, and we're not going to get down into what people consider conspiracy theories that I don't believe are conspiracy theories. But at the end of the day, it's about innocent human lives being killed, innocent women and children being killed and being slaughtered for no reason, just because of their religious beliefs or who they are. And it's like, I'm never okay with that. It happens to be that I'm Arab, I'm Egyptian, Syrian, and that my family is mostly Muslim. And so it's like, of course it hits home that my cousins are Palestinian, that are cousins that I consider like brothers and sisters to me, so that I would die for. So like, to me, it's like, it hits home very close. And it's tough. I think throughout the history of time, maybe I didn't know as much as I do know now about the conflict. And like, I maybe have had friends that were pro-Israeli and this and that. And it's just, for me, it's hard to support anything that's pro-Israeli, because it's like that country stands for killing and the mass killings of my people. And it's like, I just can't stand behind that. And so it's something I'm passionate about. Like I said, I'm not a fan of the propaganda. At the end of the day, what matters most is the innocent people dying. That should stop. And, people want to tie Palestinians and Hamas together. And it's like, no, Palestinians are people separate from what Hamas is. And we could talk about what Hamas is really in a different sense, but Palestinians are people. My cousins are Palestinian. They are from Palestine. They came here with a Palestinian passport when they did. And it's like, it's basically being almost trying to be wiped off the earth. And really, they're trying to push all the people out. And it's like, at the end of the day, what matters the most is that you shouldn't be trying to wipe any kind of race of people off of the earth anywhere, no matter who they are. You should be able to believe in what you believe and be who you are without judgment or without fear of persecution and without fear of someone trying to attack you. And something I believe in. Free Palestine. I'm going to keep saying it from now until the day that Palestine is free and rebuilt.
Yeah. Good, man. And I appreciate you being able to speak on it. I didn't know whether you would want to or not, but
I will always speak on it, man. I think before, like I said, I didn't have as much knowledge as I do now, but I have no fear of being blackballed. If I get blackballed, that's the way life is. I don't really care if someone wants to blackball me for being passionate about human life. The problem is that too many people are bought and paid for. And I've been poor a lot of my life. I've come into small sums of money and I've lost it. And I've been broke where I couldn't even afford. In Philly, we have these halal trucks, which are the best. I love them. It's like garbage, but it's good garbage. But like $5 was a tray. And I remember times where I couldn't even, if I was struggling, I was getting change together to buy a $5 halal meal. And I couldn't even pay my rent. I remember those times I've been that bad. And yeah, I don't want to go back to there, but money isn't everything. And I'd love to come across money in my life and be successful. But to me, I'd rather stand up for my beliefs and die poor than to get bought and paid for and not be able to live with my morals. So I don't care if I get blackballed. I'll always speak on it, and I'll always speak on atrocities that are happening.
Yeah, man. I don't think that anybody should be blackballed for their beliefs and for what they say. I do worry. So if it's okay that I say this too, I do worry about what's going to happen at media days and stuff like that, UFC 302, because what I have seen lately is interviewers and media taking very personal and targeted stances on issues or beliefs that they have and trying to gotcha you. You know what I mean? Like they try to get you to say something that they know is going to be weird, but like I know the person they're interviewing doesn't realize what's happening almost at the time. Yeah. So because I really do consider you my friend, man. I hope that's okay. Who wouldn't want a friend like this guy though, right, Rain? Like
I kill for my friends.
You want a friend for this guy?
I John Wick for my friends.
But I do want to say to you though, like I appreciate, because even just asking these questions now, you're so well spoken, you're so articulate on the subject. Just be aware of how interviewers may start to ask you questions, because these sons of guns, man, like they're trying to get clickbait, they're trying to do whatever, you know what I mean? And it's just like, you idiots. I hate that they do this to fighters, but I feel very confident in the way that you'd be able to represent yourself.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I definitely think you have to watch out for that. There's always, and it's not just that with reporters, it's anywhere. There's always going to be someone who's not able to accept the middle ground truth, and they're going to try and bait you to come over on the dark side. Even Michael Rappaport. I don't know if you saw my interaction with him.
Yeah. What? Okay, that's the real Michael Rappaport you're having a fight with?
I had that argument. Yeah, because I called him on the Zionist ideology that he has, which is completely ridiculous, and he just doesn't want to own up to it. And then he tried to say, "Oh, you hate Jews, you hate this and that." And he tried to put it on his story and try to put me in a bad spot and try to put a bad light on me. And it's like, dude, you're not going to get that out of me. You're not going to try and trick me into saying I hate one ethnicity of people and race of people. I don't have that. You don't know how I came up. You don't know where I'm from. Philly's so diverse, and it's like I came up under immigrant parents. There's no hatred here for any religion or any ethnicity. It's like I said it before. You judge someone based off of the character they show, not based off of their skin or their beliefs or what they they enjoy, you know. And so he tried to turn it into that, and I still have the messages. He like unsent a few of them and tried to delete his, you know. But he really tried to like put me in the light of like, you hate Jewish people, and I'm like, no, I
Wow.
don't hate Jewish people. And then the conversation went shot down because he was expecting me to like say something stupid or try and like
Right.
play towards that ideology of the stupidity of like, oh, I hate a race of people, so he could run with it, and I didn't, and he's just like, the rest of the messages died down. That's why I like posted thing, and then there was nothing else afterwards because it's just me basically calling him a pussy and saying you're an asshole for trying to bait that out of me when it's not me. And like if somebody else, maybe they would have made the mistake of saying something wrong without understanding. But I see it a lot. I do see, like, even as someone as so pro-Palestinian as I am, I see a lot of people comment like, yeah, Jews and Israelis, and I'm like, no, not Jews, Israelis. Like, say it correctly. It's not like we can't make this we can't muddy the subject. And the problem is there's a lot of people that muddy the subject, and then it gives other people the opportunity to say, look, this is a definition of all the people that support this. And it's like, that's your stupidity. And a lot of people have the stupidity because they don't understand something. And instead of just owning up to them not understanding something, they just run with the stupidity, and it just shows. And I think a lot of people need to stop being fed propaganda and bullshit, and they need to understand the truth of the subject, and that no one person is definitive of a whole background of people or a whole culture of people. Every person is their own person, their own ideology, their own flaws and good things and whatever they do. And that's not definitive of any culture, you know. Same way you would say it with Israelis and Jewish people, same thing with Palestinians and Hamas, or same thing with any kind of culture. So a lot of people need to wake up and start doing their own research. And it's crazy how many people just don't Google. Like, just it's such a simple thing. You literally have internet. You have every answer you would ever want in the world in your pocket. But you just are too lazy. We become so lazy we can't just go and type on our phone and Google this, and it's
Oh
like,
no.
answer. No, I'm just gonna see whatever someone showed me, and I believe that. And it's
Yeah.
like, you shouldn't even believe what I post. I post a lot of things like, yo, Google this. I posted this, but Google it. Do your own research.
Yeah.
But people don't want to do that. People are lazy. I don't know, it's the average human is lazy. I don't know why.
Basil, that's why. Look, I mean, you're 100% correct. That's why my podcast doesn't get enough viewers, because people don't care for long form discussion. They don't want to hear a whole story. They don't want to hear the interesting facts. They don't want to actually learn things. They just want snippets of information, and that's it.
100%.
That's what they believe.
That's so true. And it's like a friend of mine, actually, someone I came up, we both got our brown belts and black belts together. Shout out to Lex Friedman, MIT super genius. He doesn't pay attention to my life. I don't know. Maybe he does. I think he knows I'm in the UFC and he's happy for me, but he's crazy big now, but he's someone that I have a lot of respect for because he plays the middle ground and he does care about the right things. And I even messaged him like, you know, when he had on Ben Shapiro, who just lies constantly, I was like, dude, why would you bring on somebody? You know, this is my view, and maybe, you know, I shouldn't have came so hot with it, but I was like, man, I wish you would bring on somebody who like Norman Finkelstein, who's in the middle and plays the facts, doesn't go off of made up propaganda. And he replied and said, I'll bring on Norm, sorry. And he brought on Norm, and had Norm, and that's one of the best debates they had, honestly, was Norm and Muin Rabbani against Destiny, and I forget the other guy because I don't know their side as much, but they had a really constructive debate where you see the negatives, the positives, you understand the whole history from beginning to end. And it's definitely something I recommend people going on YouTube and typing in Lex Friedman, look at his debates, because he has a lot of conversation, hard conversation, in subjects that people are kind of uncomfortable. They don't want to hear it. Those are the things that matter. Because at the end of the day, we can always have, you know, quick things that come out that lead to hatred. But when we have deep conversation is when you truly understand there really can't be hatred there, you know? And it's the same thing as like the closer you get to somebody, the harder it is to hate them. It's just, that's the truth of the situation, unless that person's just a scumbag.
Yeah, man. I appreciate this conversation. I could go on about this forever, dude, because
me too, man.
Like,
I appreciate talking about it.
Yeah, all these things that keep happening, and like the kind of discussions, and even just discussions I have with people around me and stuff like that. This subject and other subjects, it's crazy to realize how uninformed people are and how much they don't even care about being informed.
Yeah, they don't.
I've had conversations with people, and I'm like, hey, blah blah blah, and we're talking about something, and they'll be like, bleh, and they just spit out like, you know, like some canned response, and I'm like, did you can you just watch this? Or like,
Yeah.
did you like, they'll be commenting about an interview. And I'll go, did you watch the whole interview? And they're like, no.
Yeah, they watch the first 10 seconds and they make
Yeah.
their judgments without even watching the
Make your
fight.
judgment.
No,
I
it
have
just sucks.
teammates. I have teammates that are like, I'm not going to bring anyone up because, you know, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. But I've had
Yeah.
teammates that shared some really crazy things in their story and on their Instagram. I'm like, you just see propaganda and share it? And I try to give them information and they just argue with it. And I'm like, you're arguing with facts. You can Google these. And then they just kind of like shut down.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
the average person can't accept that they don't know something about
Yeah.
something. They want to always like every person, the average person needs to know something about everything, or at least they need to feel like they know everything without messing my words, without ever actually doing research or understanding
Right.
and really learning about the topic. They just want to feel like I just know it, and they can't accept that they're wrong.
But it's worse than that, Basil, because Rain, it's like I'll say to the person, hey, can you at least just watch the whole interview and then let's talk about it? And that's fine if you want to stay on that stance, but watch the whole interview. And the people will just go, nah.
Like they don't have time
Yeah,
for it.
I agree.
I don't have time to get educated, you know?
They
And
can't
I'm like,
accept that you're trying to educate them, and they just like it's hard. Like I lose faith in those people. It's like
yeah, dude,
I have initial like I've gotten over the initial like, okay, it's understandable you may not know something. I'm not trying to attack you, but here's the truth. And then when they're like, oh yeah, they don't even want to learn. It's like, okay, so you just want to be ignorant? Like I don't have any bliss. There's no ignorance is bliss to me. Like you choosing to be ignorant, you shouldn't feel upset whenever someone calls you stupid then.
Yeah. And look, I don't propose to know everything about the situations or whatever. All I'm saying is like, hey, I watched a whole bit of this, or like I've like looked into this and I'd love to discuss this. And if you've got something else, I'll watch that. You know, and I think that's where the world needs to get. The world needs to get where we're willing to talk and listen and then talk and listen, right? Like you need to have pure conversations where you're actually willing to listen to what the other person says. Otherwise, what the hell?
Getting other people's insight is never a bad thing. The problem is, like you said, people don't want to hear it. They can't stand it. And it's like we all have our own views, and it's like there's nothing wrong with each having our own views. There's each one of our own views in this podcast right here, and then there's the center, the truth, you know. And it's like we can't come to the truth without accepting that each one of us has our own view, and that's a lot of that contributes to what the truth is in reality. So, I mean, look, I appreciate you even talking about this subject because a lot of people are like, the one thing that I hate is the cowardice of people like, I don't know what's going on. I don't want to talk about it. I don't know. I want to stay out of it. It's like, okay, well, you want to be a coward because you can't accept the truth of the situation and have hard conversations. And it's like, okay, that's fine. That's you, but I'm not going to do that. You know, I'm down to have the hard conversations. I've had hard conversations where I've been dead wrong. And it's kind of like, it's humbling when someone's like, actually, that's not it. It's this. Because then you were so gung-ho about like, no, I know the answer. And a lot of people can't, like, that simple thing is people can't like face that alone on its own. It's like, I never understand. We're all too high and mighty. Everyone's too high and mighty, and they can't get shot down at all.
Yeah. No, dude, look, Rain, I hope this is okay for you too, because Rain and I generally fight about every single topic we talk about. Like,
really, what are the couple topics you fought about recently? I'll be the mediator,
dude. Everything. I don't know. Wait, Rain, what was the last thing that we had?
Will you fight your friend?
Yeah. That was okay. Hold on. Don't tell him whose side you're on. Basil, the UFC sends you a contract because this just happened with Delidze and
Michelle Pereira. Right?
Oh, okay. I didn't know they were
Michelle Pereira. Rain, good pull. The UFC sends them contracts to fight, and they are friends. They're training partners in the UFC PI, right? Basil, would you fight your friend?
It depends on how good of the friend the person is and how much they're paying me.
Non-title fight.
Is it for a title? Is it like for a contention spot? For who gets the next shot?
Yeah. Non-title fight and non-number one contender spot.
How much are they paying me?
Your regular contracted amount. Why would they pay you more?
Nah, I'd rather pick somebody else. And look, if the friend says, yeah, I'm down, then they're no longer my friend. Then I'm like, all right, I'm going. Like, I'm kind of like, yeah, I've lost, look, I've had a lot of losses in life. I lost my parents. I've lost close friends, and I've lost friends to death. And it's like, I've been alone, and I'm alone right now. So it's kind of like, at the end of the day, it's dog eat dog. I'm from Philly. It's a dog eat dog mentality. I'm a loyal guy. I'd like to look out for my friends. And if my friend's on the same page as me, is like, yo, let's not fight right now, then yeah, well, I'll just say, give me a different name. It's principle,
Right.
you know?
Yeah,
and so if it's like, hey, we offered your friend and he said, yeah, I'm like, all right, let's go. Like, I guess you don't care. Like it really depends on the situation. Like, obviously I would rather not fight somebody that, it's nothing to do with I train with them. I don't care. Like, everyone I train with understands like how good I am, and that's how I feel, and like that's why I get respect where I go. But like on the friendship side, yeah, I would prefer not to if we're on the same page. But if it's something for like a very important position and for a high paycheck, then it's like, hey man, we gotta do what we gotta do. We're in this business, you know. I'm a company man, and so it's sometimes you got to do that.
Just so you know, if a contract comes, Rain is signing to fight you immediately. She'll fight anybody. Just so you
That's
know.
kind of like the immigrant mentality. It's like you don't care. It's like we gotta eat. You gotta eat.
Right? It's like an opportunity. That's what I told Tim. I will fight whoever. If my friend's down with it, I don't care. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for my friend too.
No, hold on, Rain. You're the person that's signing it first.
Oh yeah, you're the person signing it first. Yeah. If they call me and they're like, "Yo, Rain said she's down to fight. Are you gonna fight?" I'm like, "Damn, all right, I guess so." I mean, my family is the only thing I really deeply at the end of the day. I have my friends, I have people that I'm close with, and yeah, I would do a lot for them. But family is the most important. So like, I think family, I would say no, even if they said yeah, and then unless it was like, "Yo, you have to take this flight," I'd say okay. Because I have to, but I don't want to.
Even if your family tells you, "Hey, come on, it's gonna be fun."
No, I'm like, there's so much violence and hatred that's in this sport. I hate Mickey Gall. I want to punch him so hard in the face. That's how I get it. I don't get like this is a joke. If it's a jiu-jitsu match, oh yeah, I don't care. We can go against anyone. I'll go against any person in the world. I don't care. But it's like, this is a fight. To me, it's a violent sport, and that's how I fight. I fight like it's supposed to be violent. I'm supposed to try and take the food off your plate, and you're trying to do the same thing with me. You're trying to knock me down and make my dreams not come true, and I'm doing the same to you. And it's like, that's the mentality. So it's hard for like if it was my brother, part of me would be like, no, he wants to fight me, then I don't want to fight him.
Yeah.
We've gotten in fights growing up, and I still don't want to do that. It's just it's a sticky spot, but like it's case by case situation, I would say. So I'm maybe, like I said, I'm in the middle between you two.
He's like in the middle of it.
There you go. God dang it, Sabretooth. What are you doing?
That's what's
all right. All right, my friend. We have kept you way too long, and I really appreciate you spending the time, man. Like I really, really do. But I don't want to end the podcast without asking you the question now that we're asking everybody. Rain, I don't think I asked it to him the last time, but even if I did, you're in a different stage of your life now. You're in a different part of life. Basil Hafez, my mom used to ask me this question all the time when I was growing up. On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you?
Ooh, that's a good question. Scale 1 to 10 right now, about a 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'll be happier one day. Life is not easy, and I love what I do. I love that I'm in the best organization in the world. There's a lot of things that would make me happier. Not having to stress about bills, maybe having the love of my life. There's a lot of things that add to that happiness. And I did cover my ears, but I still heard. I got good hearing, so I heard the last guy talk, and I mean, it's good. He lives at home with his parents, and good for him. My life has not been all sunshine and rainbows, and so when that happens, it's hard to be happy 24/7. Especially one thing that contributes to happiness is your knowledge of the truth. And so, I know a lot about the world, and we talked about a little bit of it here too. And so it's hard to be happy with a lot of that negativity. For me, true happiness is not being persecuted and killed for their religion, being able to have a person that I care about, being able to maybe raise a family. So maybe one day I'll be truly happy. If I was a 10 happiness right now, then what's the point of continuing to do anything? For me, I'm chasing the happiness, and I'm trying to chase the things that a lot of people have that I want. So I'm a 7 right now. Hopefully after this fight, I'll be an 8 or 9, and then I'll come back down to earth and I'll be a 7 again. And then one day, hopefully I'll be a 10. That's the goal.
Nice, Basil. I really appreciate that honest answer, man. Thank you so much, dude. And if anybody deserves to reach that number 10, it's you, my friend. Like, I really, honestly, man, one of the best dudes that we've ever had on this podcast. Rain, was so happy that you'd be coming back as the first ever repeat guest.
I
for
hope
the
you guys
main.
reach a 10 too. If you're not a 10 right now, I hope you guys are an 11 at one point. You know, I hope that for every one of my friends and family. And I consider you guys good friends. You guys are awesome people, man. It's so easy to talk to on this podcast. I'd say this is probably my favorite podcast to get on because I could just be myself without any judgment. And you guys are awesome, Timmy and Rain. Thank you so much. Fight Insight's the best.
Yay. Thank
Thanks, my
you.
friend. I'm clipping that and I'm going to use that forever.
Yeah, hell yeah, use it. That's to be your opening.
Yeah. Dude, thank you so much, man, for joining the podcast. I really
I want to
appreciate
shout
it.
out my sponsors real quick if I can.
Yes.
If you guys
Yes,
allow.
please.
I want to shout out my team, Pound for Pound, Muay Thai, Justin Houghton. He's been best coach that I've worked with in terms of my recent, other than my original coaches, Andy Russell and Ricardo Miglaris. I'm so grateful to be with him. Thank you to Barwood Strength Conditioning, my strength conditioning, and Kenny Nguyen out here, and Jake. These guys have been helping me really lock down and be in shape for this camp so that I can go in there and beat up Mickey all 3 rounds and put a show on for the fans. And shout out to my sponsors, Duran Roofing or Endurance Roofing and Duran Roofing. These guys are awesome. I started working with them. Mile High Jewelers. If you ever need jewelry in Colorado, those guys produce some great jewelry. Have some awesome looking stuff. Dependable Solutions, Delco Steaks, More Homes Colorado, Technicare Mechanical, J&B Health Associates, Candays Rosin Treats, PA Pain and Rehab, My Fit Foods, Cafe La Mode, Place of Peace BJJ, and the best underwear ever, Sheath Underwear. Get you a pair. Thank you guys. Appreciate you.
Basil, guys, go support Basil Hafez. Go check out those sponsors. Go to his Instagram. Make sure that you follow him on Instagram. He is at Basil_Badre, I believe. Let me get it up here.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. And link in my bio for any promo codes, especially for Sheath and a couple other guys. Make sure you use those promo codes.
Yeah, guys, that is so important, man. Support your fighters. And dude, I'm so happy though that to see that the Habibi gets so much love, pun intended, but gets so much love himself. Like with all those sponsors, dude, that's a ton of sponsors. So I'm very happy for you.
Hey, these guys are great, man. They've supported me. A lot of them are longtime supporters that I've known. Like I know every one of those guys individually as people that like from the owners, not just like the business, from the owners, my aspect, and they're great people, man. Even when I've done. When I raise money for breast cancer and I donate to families going through breast cancer. Actually, I kind of wanted to mention that too. 5 months ago, through Barwis, we were able to, and a lot of help from the local fighters that were able to provide gloves and different signed things. We were able to raise about $3,000, and then Tim from Sense of Security, Tim Taravella, helped. He matched my donation, and we were able to donate to his wait list of people that are families going through breast cancer that are having trouble pay bills and pay rent and even just be able to live a life. And so we donated a big portion to that wait list. And then I wanted to personally have him donate a portion of it to a family that's directly impacted through breast cancer. And I met that family recently, and it's something that it kind of relit a fire under me to keep doing this because it reminded me of where my family was when my mom was sick, basically just getting more and more debt because she's trying to stay afloat and trying to pay bills and provide a roof over our heads. And when she ended up passing away, all the debt falls on the kids, on the family. And not only they have to deal with the loss of their loved one, they have to deal with now the debt in this country just buries you in debt, destroys your credit score, and makes it like you can't ever succeed again. And so I got to meet that family firsthand, and it's really lit a fire under me to do it again. So this summer I'll be doing another event, and every one of these sponsors I mentioned is why I say support them. They are awesome people that when I reached out to them and said, hey, I'm having trouble raising money, they said, listen, we'll donate, we'll help. And so, they all donated and helped me raise the money so that I can do something I'm passionate about, which is, not donate to these big, Susan G. Komen, these big foundations where it trickles down, to donate directly to families' pockets and help them be able to not stress about bills maybe for a month or two. And hopefully one day it gets bigger and I can donate more to help them with their lives. And so support these sponsors. And next time I do a breast cancer drive, make sure you guys support because there's no middleman. I don't make anything. I lose money on it. All the money goes directly to families fighting breast cancer. So any help would be supported with that. And thank you guys again for giving me the platform.
Dude, of course, man. And, like you always do good stuff. Tag us in any of the stories, man, and I'll reshare it for the
so we can reshare it.
Yeah, tag us, man, and we'll try to get it out as best as we can too, man.
Next event this summer, I'm doing I'm going to cook up smash burgers. I'm going to do like a smash burger cook-off, and all the money will be raised going to families help fight breast cancer again. So I'll tag you guys in that. And if you're in Denver or Colorado area, keep a lookout, come out and support, help good cause.
Yeah. For sure, dude. We'll do everything that we can to support you, man. You're a massive, massive friend of the podcast. been on twice now, so now he's family of the podcast.
Woohoo!
It's twice as of now. We ain't done yet.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Twice as of now, and to go forward. But thank you so much, man. All the best to you in your fight on June 1st. We'll of course be watching and cheering you on, dude. Man, we can't wait to see you. We'll see you on this podcast again. Thank you, my friend.
Appreciate you guys so much.
Thank you.
Right in sight. Check them out.
See ya, buddy. Take care, man. Bye-bye.
See you guys.
All right, Rain. That is Mr. Basil Hafez. What a good guy.
I know.
This podcast went hella long, but I really hope
But
people
for a good reason, though. It's like, man, I didn't even realize. I look at the timer right now. It's like, oh wow. But it's like, it's always good to have Basil. You know, it's always a great conversation with him, and the stuff that he talked about. Man, it's really great, man. I love it.
He's a good dude, man. He's just a really good person. You know, like we get these people, Rain, and you can see like who the truly good people are. And he really is one of those guys, man. I really like this guy a lot. He hasn't fought in a year, and I am dying for him to put on the freaking performance of a lifetime, get that spark under him, and get all the focus on Basil Hafez, man. That's all I want. 302, UFC 302. That's all I'm going to be watching is Basil Hafez. So,
and what a great opportunity for Sam too. Like he joins us for an interview. Next thing he knows, he gets an advice from a UFC fighter.
Yeah.
Basil. Like, oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah. Hey, that's what we do here, Rain. All right, this is way too long of a podcast, so I'm going to end it here. But thank you so much, Rain, for coming out. Next week on the podcast, I don't know what's going on. Oh, actually, I think he just messaged. Hold on. What is next week's podcast? Is it the 20? Is it the 27th?
27th already. Yeah, we're going to have Jesse Strader next week.
From UNF.
From UNF, yep.
And this just in, as we're recording this, he does it. Chris Kalidas, the Greek assassin, a UFC veteran. He's normally the commentator with me at Fight League Atlantic. He's the main event of FLA 15. The Greek assassin will be on the podcast next week. So we're gonna do Greek assassin and
Jesse Strader from UNF 19.
Boom. So it's our two. Is it Almer Matters, or what do you call it? Like it's like our two companies or whatnot that we work for. We're gonna have 2 stars from there. So that's very exciting. So that's gonna be next week. Rain, thank you so much. We are out of here.
Thank you. Bye guys. Heart.
Yeah, from the Habibi.